Live from Washington, D.C., your host, Merle Comer.
Welcome. The typical American manufacturing company spends only about 1% of its total revenues on energy. So why get excited about that savings in such a minor part of the cost?
Well, I think most manufacturing companies operate in a very competitive environment of their own, and they need to use every opportunity to get savings.
Let's walk them through that.
And here's the other way is, of course, these savings really impact the bottom line. Here's a hypothetical case where I picked a company that has $300 in revenues. You can add as many zeros as you like. It has an energy bill of 1%, that is $3, has earnings of 10%, $30, has 10 shares outstanding, and consequently with a 15% PE ratio, share price $45, total market value of the company $450. Now cut the energy bill by 25%, apply all those savings to the earnings, improve the earnings in other words, run through the same very simple math, and you come up now with a market valuation of $461. In other words, a 75-cent saving in the energy bill generates an $11 increase in the value of the company. Now that's a strong incentive that people ought to be using to pursue cost reduction.
I'll take it.
I would too.
The excessive electrical demand pushes up the power bill for a lot of industrial plants. Now, why is that, and what can be done about it?
Well, I think most manufacturing plants pay their electric bill in two ways. There's the energy part, which is usually expressed in cents per kilowatt hour, and that's a charge that's applied to all the kilowatt hours that a company uses. The second part of their rate is a demand charge. It's usually applied in dollars per kilowatt of maximum demand per month. What many plants do is that they create a lot of excessive demand when they, for example, start up all their equipment at the beginning of the shift, when they run everything during overlapping shift, when they start large motors like large air compressors when the demand is already high, when they hook up battery chargers on the high charge rate during peak demand periods. It's all those kinds of things that cause short, high demand periods on which the bill is based. Now the way to eliminate that high cost that results from that is to do a better job in demand control. And the way one does that is through better manual scheduling, through electric interlocks that prevent multiple pieces of equipment from starting at the same time, and finally to actually reduce load, shed load during periods when plant demand appears to be imminent.
All right, I'm convinced that the potential for eliminating that waste is great, but why does it continue to persist? You were at GM for 35 years. Why does that continue to happen?
I think the main reason is that energy conservation, energy waste elimination is not really built into the focus of the organization. I think the only way to get that done really is to put in what I would call an energy accounting system, which really starts with a sub-metering system which breaks down the energy cost into every one of the major plant departments, into every one of the managers' areas, into every major energy-using piece of equipment. And once you have that accurate data, you establish a budget for all those people, you establish reduction goals, and you monitor and make sure that that's done. I think an additional point here is that sub-metering system that I'm talking about here really is one of the basic building blocks for most energy management strategies that follow. Reduce the demand and you'll pay less.
All right, well, we still have you. Let's sum up the long and short-term opportunities attached to this, ways to cut energy costs.
Well, it seems to me that the whole issue can be really summarized in probably three fairly simple statements. First is that careful management of all your existing usage makes excellent sense. There's just no question about that. It improves the bottom line. Secondly, effective sourcing offers great opportunities on top of that. And finally, I think one of the things that people need to look at is that to maximize all these opportunities, you really need to take a look at today's best technology. You need to take a look at the best metering, monitoring, and communications tools that you have available.
Thank you, Jerry, for joining us. Last month, Claire Leica of First Business interviewed purchasing consultant Robert Kemp, immediate past president of the National Association of Purchasing Management. And Claire asked him what it takes to maximize savings in the deregulated environment.
What homework should companies be doing in their own operations to maximize their total savings opportunities?
Oh, the first thing we need to do is analyze our demand structure. How do we use power, and what can we do to affect that positively for our benefit? Many companies have not done that analysis to see when they create peak loads, to see what happens when they turn machinery on and off, those kind of things. So we have huge opportunities to affect our demand and drive demand down, stabilize demand, get rid of peak loads, take other alternatives to satisfy peak loads. And when we do that, then we'll be in a better position to go to negotiate with these new suppliers.
Is it necessary for companies to do that to compete?
Oh, absolutely. If a company has any sizable demand on power, then it must do that analysis, and it must know that it is using power the most efficient way possible.
That's why companies like Rockwell have teamed up with energy providers like Berlin, Connecticut-based Select Energy to bring to market power monitoring tools that help customers manage their energy use.
We are looking at our entire load profile and seeing how that may work in various power distribution atmospheres. We will be looking at that deregulation market in depth to see how we can best present ourselves as a load customer.
It's state-of-the-art automation that allows Rockwell to get a handle on how much energy they are using and when they are using it.
Let's take a look right now at Select Energy's Central Station concept and how it can help customers balance use and cost.
Central Station is a unique concept enabling companies to monitor, manage, and control their power usage across multiple applications as well as multiple sites. It means big savings for companies by helping them aggregate their power buys most efficiently. Central Station will allow a user to monitor power loads, identifying the places and times when they are experiencing their heaviest usage. These demand spikes often bring expensive surcharges and penalties, which can be avoided when power usage is more evenly distributed. When multiple sites are all tied into one energy buy, a company might back off operations at one site for certain periods during the day in order to avoid those expensive peaks. The idea is to monitor, manage, and control your usage to achieve price flexibility and optimum load profile. Central Station will also allow companies who are aggregating their power buys to take advantage of the opportunities deregulation will bring by identifying the best rate options for their situation. Results will vary depending on regional price and capacity differences.
Now, can you give us a rundown on some products that energy users are finding effective today?
Well, there's some products and services out there. The first thing I think to start off with, though, is just start off with your basic building meter, though, to get an understanding of what's going on in your facility. By there, what you can do is then start sub-metering. We have a graphic here right now where what we're showing is essentially your entire building load, and what's represented by the red line going across is just a sub-metered component of the HVAC system for this particular customer. And the significance of this is that you can start to understand, okay, how is this impacting the peaks to my energy consumption for this, this particular customer? So that way you can start, if you will, disaggregating various loads and now maybe change your strategies for operation. And then you can see by going through and actually affecting change within the facility, you can have some pretty significant dollar savings associated with your peak consumption.
QLS, your training resource.